ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नाम्ने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। भूते महद्भ्ये मा पुरो विभु निर्मानुष्यते यदभूषु पुरुषा। भूते गुणान् षोडशात्मका स्थूलं कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे। श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथामृतं सततपिबतं भक्तिवेदान्तमार्गपन्थनं सर्वलोकऋषिदेव जन्मप्रसन्नं सर्वलोकऋषिदेव जन्मप्रसन्नम्। Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and Matatis. Welcome to the morning Srīmad Bhāgavatam class. So we'll be continuing from where Her Grace Bhavame Mataji left yesterday at Brisbane Bhakti at Hare Krishna Temple. So this chapter we see is titled Appearance of Sri Nārada, fourth chapter, first canto, Srīmad Bhāgavatam. And this chapter, most of the verses actually are dealing with prelude to appearance of Sri Nārada, which will be at the end of chapter. And we see that Shaunak Rishi is asking questions. He's representing all the sages who are assembled in Naimisharanya. And quite a number of these questions we see seem to be a repetition of questions asked in chapter 1. So this tells us the seriousness of the matter and the seriousness with which the rishis assembled in Naimisharanya are considering the effects of the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, Kali Yuga. In verse number 17 and 18, we see a number of points mentioned. Firstly, that there is bhautikanam cha bhavanam shakti rasam, decrease in bodily strength and deterioration of everything which is material. And yesterday, a nice point was made by Her Grace Bhavame Mataji that as far as matter is concerned, we should not pay much attention to it, meaning it should not matter. Matter is meant to deteriorate and decline. However, the soul is eternal. But when the soul is linked to the super soul, that's when we can rise above the material deterioration and tribulations. The second symptom mentioned in that verse was ashraddhadhanam, that people generally are faithless. They don't have any inclination finding out what are the problems of life and how to progress. And everyone is impatient due to lack of mode of goodness. Nishthavan. No one is nishthavan. No one is fixed. Everyone is oscillating. We are trying this and we are not waiting for the results. Immediately we are jumping to something else. However, devotional service means three things: utsahat, enthusiasm; nishchayat, determination; and dhairyat, patience. If patience is there, if we are able to chant our daily rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, patiently, attentively and without rushing it through, then we will realize that the whole day's activity fits in its place. But if we don't chant or we try to rush through, then whole day activity is out of sync. So daily we have an appointment with Krishna. Daily we have an appointment with Srīmad Bhāgavatam. As long as we somehow become fixed, there will be thousands of reasons, maybe, or hundreds of reasons that we may not join Srīmad Bhāgavatam. For instance, last 2 weeks, I haven't been able to join. We are moving houses, and in the midst of moving, we're still unpacking, and it's like a war zone over here. We are doing renovations at the same time. But my realization has been, still, I should have joined. Because for these 2 weeks, I did not join. I feel that there has been a decline in everything that I have done. So don't follow my example. If ever and whenever you are moving, or there are things which are pending, if first priority we give to Srīmad Bhāgavatam and chanting of the holy names, then everything else, even within the tribulations that are happening, will fall in place. I remember episode which will come in the 7th chapter of this canto, when Ashwatthama releases Brahmastra to decimate all the Pandavas. Then at that time, Arjuna asks Krishna question as to what is this. But before he asks the question, it is mentioned in Srīmad Bhāgavatam that Arjuna does Achman. He recites the holy names of Krishna, and then he does parikrama of Krishna 3 times. And after doing that, he poses the question. In the meantime, the Brahmastra is coming, so we can see the urgency that would have been there to counteract the Brahmastra. Arjuna, nonetheless, he patiently waits to execute his daily services of bhakti, of proper etiquette. He doesn't rush through. So if we just been nishthavan, fixed in chanting of our 16 rounds and of doing our Srīmad Bhāgavatam activity, then we will see that things automatically will happen. It is the higher powers which arrange the puzzle of our life in the right place. But when we try to take in charge, then things will go miserably wrong. Then the 4th quality mentioned is durmedhan. People are dull-witted. We are of puny intelligence, and we cannot make sound decisions made on sound principles. The 5th thing is reduced duration of life. Prasita ayusaha. And the 6th thing, durbhag gan. We are unlucky. We try to do the right thing, but wrong things happen. However, in all this, amidst all this, if we somehow or the other take to Krishna consciousness, then we'll find that amidst tribulations, we are able to rise above. Our consciousness is able to rise above and be fixed in lotus feet of Krishna, and all good things happen. Then we see that from verse 19 to verse 23, there is description of the divisions of Vedas that Vyāsadev undertook. So we'll just read the translation. So here it is mentioned, he saw that the sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were by means which the people's occupation could be purified, and to simplify the process, he divided 1 Vedas into 4 in order to expand them among men. The four divisions of the original sources of knowledge, the Vedas, were made separately, but the historical facts and authentic stories mentioned in the Puranas are called the fifth Veda. After the Vedas were divided into four divisions, Pailya Rishi became the professor of Rig Veda, Jaimini the professor of Samaveda, and Vaishampayana alone became glorified by Yajurveda. So these are all prominent disciples of Vyasadev, and he entrusted each one of them with different disciplines of Vedic line. The Sumantu Muni Angira, who was very devotedly engaged, was entrusted with Atharva Veda, and my father, Romaharshana, was entrusted with Puranas and historical records. All these learned scholars in their turn rendered their entrusted Vedas onto their many disciples, grand disciples, and great grand disciples, and thus the respective branches of the followers of the Vedas came into being. So we see that how the parampara has been expanded, originating, of course, firstly from Krishna, then going through other spiritual masters from Brahma, Nārada, Vyāsadev, and so on, and from Vyāsadev expanding. Most important point as far as we are concerned, we see here that the Puranas, of which Srīmad Bhāgavatam is the main Purana, and also the essence of all Vedic literatures, including the Upanishads, was entrusted to Roma Harshini, the father of Sudha Goswami. Now, we discussed yesterday that Sudha is not a Brahmana. He is a mixed breed of between Kshatriya and Brahmana. So this notion that only Brahmanas can recite the Vedic mantras or study Vedas, even from the time of Vyasadev, is totally rejected. The right of Vedic knowledge is to that person who is eager to understand the supreme absolute truth. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is nicely said that one who knows the science of Krishna consciousness, Krishna Tattva Veta Sai Jai Sai Guru Hai, Kiva Vipra Kriva Nasi Shudra Kiva Nai, that one may be a Brahmana, one may be a sannyasi, one may be a Shudra, but all these things are not qualification or lack of qualification for being Krishna conscious or studying Krishna consciousness. Krishna Tattva Veta Jai Sai Guru Hai. One who knows the Krishna Tattva, he actually is a true Guru. And Srila Prabhupada, very nicely, he expounded this fact and made many Western disciples. I mean, he had to, because he was spreading Krishna consciousness according to the instructions of his spiritual master in the Western world. At that time, we see that many Brahmanas in India, in Vrindavan, they said, this is not correct. How can whites be chanting Gayatri Mantra? So this is scriptural evidence, Shastra Praman, that we see that even at the time of Vyasadeva, this was happening. So this is not something which is not authentic. This movement is most authentic movement coming out from India, because it is carrying the parampara system without any adulteration or without any change. Now let's go on to text number 23, I think. Nārayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Taiva veda durmedhe धार्यन्ते पुरुषैर्यथा एवं चकार भगवान् व्यासा कृपणवत्सलः. Translation: Thus the great sage Vyāsadev, who was very kind to the ignorant masses, edited the Vedas so that they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll read it.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. The Veda is one, and the reasons for its divisions in many parts are explained herewith. The seed of all knowledge, or the Veda, is not a subject matter which can easily be understood by any ordinary man. There is a stricture that no one should try to learn the Vedas who is not a qualified Brahmana. This stricture has been wrongly interpreted in so many ways. A class of men who claim Brahminical qualifications simply by their birthright in the family of a Brahmana claim that the study of the Vedas is monopoly of the Brahmana caste only. Another section of the people take this as an injustice to members of other castes who do not happen to take birth in a Brahmana family, but both of them are misguided. The Vedas are subjects which had to be explained even to Brahmaji by the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the subject matter is understood by persons with exceptional qualities of goodness. Persons who are in the modes of passion and ignorance are unable to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. The ultimate goal of Vedic knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This personality is very rarely understood by those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. In the Satya Yuga, everyone was situated in the mode of goodness. Gradually, the modes of goodness declined during the Treta and Dwapara Yugas, and the general mass of people became corrupt. In the present age, the mode of goodness is almost nil, and so far the general mass of people, the kind-hearted, powerful sage Srila Vyāsadeva divided the Vedas in various ways so that they may be practically followed by less intelligent persons in the modes of passion and ignorance. It is explained in the next shloka as follows. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mansi. Thank you very much. So we look at word to word. Te, that, eva, certainly, Vedaha, the book of knowledge, Durmedaihi, by the less intellectual, Dharayante, can assimilate, Purushai, by the men, Yatha, as much as, Evam, thus, Chakara, edited, Bhagavana, the powerful, Vyasaha, the great sage of Vyasa, Kripanavatsalaha, very kind to the ignorant mass. So the word significant here is Vyasa Kripanavatsalaha. Kripana means one who is miserly. And miserly in this context means that one who is intellectually miserly. What is the general meaning of miser? Miser means that you have money, but you don't want to spend. I know one of my distant family members. He was filthy rich, but he was living like a miser. He would order his daughters no more than 9 chapatis should be cooked. There were 3 in the family, and each one would have 3 chapatis each, no more than that. Even if you felt hungry, you had to do with 9. So this is miserly. Now, what does it mean in spiritual context? In spiritual context, it means that Krishna has given us nice intelligence. And instead of using intelligence for the spiritual subject matters, we are wasting our intelligence in matter, which is bound to deteriorate. So despite having intelligence, we are not using it. So such person is called Kripana. And their intelligence, therefore, here it is mentioned that it is Durmedheir. Medheir means the less intelligent. This is why we are less intelligent, because we are miserly intelligence. But Vyasadev is Kripana Vatsalaha. He is very kind to those persons who are of miserly intelligence, who even have intelligence but don't want to use it in the right direction. And for such persons, so that they can assimilate the Vedic literature in an easily understandable way, he composed Srīmad Bhāgavatam. And in the same way, Srila Prabhupada is even more merciful than Vyasadev, because Srila Prabhupada translated in a common man's language, so that everyone in the Western world and who are not connected to the land of Bharatavarsha, like myself, I'm 3rd generation Fiji born, that we somehow or the other could get access to this supermost sublime knowledge. What would happen if Srila Prabhupada did not do this? What would happen if Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not order Srila Prabhupada that you preach the message of Krishna consciousness in the Western world? The rest of the paper we see here is emphasizing on the same fact that anyone is qualified to recite and propagate preaching of Vedas, provided that he is suitably situated in the principles of Krishna consciousness. Any questions or comments, Prabhu and Matajis? Okay, we go to the next verse. Stri Shudra Dvija Bandhunam Traina Shruti Gocharam Karma Shreyasi Mudhanam Shreyam Evam Bhavetiha Iti Bharatam Akyanam Kripaya Munina Kritam. Translation: out of compassion, the great sage thought it wise that this would enable man to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus, he compiled the great historical narration called Mahabharata for women, laborers, and the friends of the twice born. So still, Srīmad Bhāgavatam has not been compiled. So to deal with the mass of less intelligent people, Vyasadeva decided to write the historical document Mahabharata, especially for women, laborers, and friends of twice born, meaning those Brahmanas who have fallen from the principles of Brahminican culture. Would anyone like to read the paper, please?
I can read it.
Yes, Mataji.
The friends of the twice-born families are those who are born in the families of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, or the spiritually cultured families, but who themselves are not equal to their forefathers. Such descendants are not recognized as such, for want of purificatory achievements. The purificatory activities begin even before the birth of a child, and the seed-giving reformatory process is called Garbhadana Samskara. One who has not undergone such Garbhadana Samskara or spiritual family planning is not accepted as being of an actual twice-born family. The Garbhadana Samskara is followed by other purificatory processes, out of which the sacred thread ceremony is one. This is performed at the time of spiritual initiation. After this particular samskara, one is rightly called twice born. One birth is calculated during the seed giving samskara, and the second birth is calculated at the time of spiritual initiation. One who has been able to undergo such important samskara can be called a bona fide twice born. If the father and the mother do not undertake the process of spiritual family planning and simply beget children out of passion only, the children are called Dvijabandhus. These Dvijabandhus are certainly not as intelligent as the children of the regular twice-born families. The Dvijabandhus are classified with the Shudras and the woman class, who are by nature less intelligent. The Shudras and the woman class do not have to undergo any samskara save and accept the ceremony of marriage. The less intelligent classes of men, namely women, Shudras, and unqualified sons of the higher caste, are devoid of necessary qualifications to understand the purpose of the transcendental Vedas. For them, the Mahabharata was prepared. The purpose of the Mahabharata is to administer the purpose of the Vedas, and therefore within this Mahabharata, the summary Veda of the Bhagavad Gita is placed. The less intelligent are more interested in stories than in philosophy, and therefore the philosophy of the Vedas in the form of the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Lord Sri Krishna. Vyāsadev and Lord Krishna are both on the transcendental plane, and therefore they collaborated in doing good to the fallen souls of this age. The Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. It is the first book of spiritual values, as the Upanishads are. The Vedanta philosophy is the subject matter for the study by the spiritual graduates. Only the postgraduate spiritual student can enter into the spiritual or devotional service of the Lord. It is a great science, and the great professor is the Lord himself in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And persons who are empowered by him can initiate others in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, here in the last line of this paper, we see Srila Prabhupada write, it is a great science, and the great professor is the Lord himself in form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the persons who are empowered by him can initiate others in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows no bounds. And it is only due to his mercy that somehow or the other we are able to discuss Srīmad Bhāgavatam and Srīmad Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, none of our samskaras actually are good. Everyone in Kalyuga, Kalo Shudra Sambhavet, is born, as a Shudra. And everyone is Shudra. We don't have a nice Vedic culture because the Garbhadhan Samskara, as it is mentioned here, was performed not as per spiritual injunctions, but out of passion only. And therefore, the result is Dvijabandhus, not Brahmanas, but friends of Brahmanas. Friends of Brahmanas means it's a polite way of saying you are not a Brahmana. You are less than a Brahmana. So His Grace Gokuleshwar Prabhu was explaining in one of the classes in Forest Lakes that actually, if the Garbhadhan Samskara, meaning the Samskara, even during the birth of, even before the birth of the child, from the before time of inception, that is, that before the child is conceived, the mood and the consciousness of mother to be and father to be has to be spiritually saturated. And Srila Prabhupada emphasized that in Krishna consciousness, if we want to beget good children, then we should be chanting 64 rounds before we try to conceive the child, for a number of a period before we try to conceive the child. Why? Because this process of samskara, garbhadhan samskara, try to conceive child, it is it's like programming. I just realized that it's 7 o'clock already. So we'll leave here and discuss this point tomorrow. Hope all the devotees have a wonderful Krishna conscious day, and Krishna willing, see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Granth Srimad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu.
His grace
Krishna
will
Krishna
Prabhu ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Jai. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.